So you should now you should have understood now by this two steps. First step is taking the ratio T1 by Ti. I stands for the remaining signals. Let me just draw it. X of t, if assume that it's the sum of many signals, say x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4. मैंने चार signals लिए हैं sum, and ये जो x1 है उसका period t1 है, ये t2 है, this is t3 and this is t4. If this is the case, then I have to find t1 by t2 one ratio, t1 by t3 second ratio, and t1 by t4 third ratio. Three ratios. Okay, four signals, three ratios. Five signals, four ratios. You know, ratios will be one lesser than the number of signals because t1 is common in all, so you are not doing t1 by t1. Okay, one less. So these ratios you need to find, and the second step is you need to identify whether the ratio which you have you have represented, whether it is rational or not. If it is rational, you continue. Yes, periodic है signal, अभी आपको further steps continue करने पड़ेंगे. But if you fail this, if you fail to convert this, if you fail in getting this as the rational number, the ratio is irrational, in that case stop the problem, say that it is non periodic. जो it is not necessary के say I have two odd signals, so two odd values 1 plus 3. It is not at all necessary that if I add two odd values I will get odd value only. No, because I am getting even value here. So just like that, if you have all periodic signals and all are getting added, it doesn't mean that जब आप finally add करेंगे वो final signal भी periodic ही होगा. That is, it is not sure. That's why this all these steps we are following to see whether we will get the signal or not. So after two steps, okay, if the ratio is irrational, stop the problem. But if you find the ratio as a rational ratio, then you decide that yes, finally मुझे आगे बढ़ना है, next step को जाना है, and I have to find the period. Okay, for that, what is the third step? Third step, we need to find the GCD. It's a very familiar word to you. You might have studied this in your primary schoolings. GCD, greatest common divisor. So GCD of both numerator and denominator. Actually, numerator GCD not required for your steps. But however, we are calculating for denominator. Let us calculate for numerator as well. Okay. So important thing, greatest common divisor, we should find the denominators and numerators. What do you mean by numerators? Numerators, you have T1 here. What are denominators? Denominators, T2, T3 and T4. If I take one sample problem, you'll understand this. Okay. So this is the third step. After that, what is the fourth step? Fourth step is we need to find the least common multiple, that is LCM. Again, it's a familiar term, both GCD and LCM, it comes in mathematics. You need to find the least common multiple of denominator. We are more interested in the denominator because denominator has got the variations T2, T3, T4 in the ratio T1 by Ti. This is the variable term, this is constant, so we are more interested in the denominator part. So first, in the third step, find the GCD of numerator and denominator, and in the fourth step, find the LCM of the denominator. And finally, the last step, the period of your final signal x of t, that is the sum signal, it is equal to T1 into this LCM. Okay, if you just multiply this LCM with your first x1 of t signals period, you will get the total period of your signal x of t. Okay, these are the steps to be followed to find the period of such a signal, which is the sum of periodic signals. Okay, if this is the case. So you should be very much sure. In the question, they will not tell you that apply the 5 steps and find the period. Question will not be like that. How they'll mention the question? They will simply give you some equation and the periods. So it is up to you to identify that हाँ इस problem को ये 5 steps को apply करना है. How will you identify that? Just now I have told you, this is also a kind of problem wherein input is sum of two signals, cos and sine. However, time periods in दोनों signal के same हैं, right? इसीलिए we directly we have calculated here. So what is the criteria to decide हमको steps apply करने हैं या नहीं हैं? The criteria is this. Here you can observe, जो भी signals हैं आपके, ये सिग्नल्स के जो टाइम पीरियड्स रहेंगे वो अलग अलग रहेंगे, सेम नहीं रहेंगे. ओके इसका टाइम पीरियड अलग रहेगा, y2 का अलग एंड y3 का अलग. इफ देर आर डिफरेंट टाइम पीरियड्स फॉर डिफरेंट सिग्नल्स, देन you have to decide that yes, this problem is based on those 5 steps to be followed. So I have to apply 5 steps and I have to find the period. Okay, question will not be given to you in like that. So apply the steps and find. No, question will not be like that. You can see it on the here screen. Question is in this form. I'll read it out. Before that, I've written one statement here. Similarly, steps can be written for the discrete time signal. Means जो मैंने अभी ये 5 steps follow किए हैं, ये continuous time signals हैं. Similarly, आप same steps discrete के लिए लिखो. What will be the change of in the steps? T will be replaced with capital N. ये जहां पर भी सिग्नल स्मॉल t है, स्मॉल n लिख दो. जहां पर भी कैपिटल T है, फंडामेंटल पीरियड n लिख दो. That's it. Here also T is replaced with N. बाकी के सभी steps में जो भी wordings हैं, everything will remain the same. I think you can do it by yourself. Please respond if you are understanding or not. At least you can unmute and ask, tell me. Let me take one problem. I'll take one problem and I'll just leave you. Okay. No response. Determine whether the signal y of t, you can observe it on the screen. It is the sum of 3 signals. Okay, 3 signals. Whether this y of t signal is periodic or not. This is the question. You need to determine whether the signal y of t is periodic or not. And it is given that y of t is a sum of 3 signals, y1 plus y2 plus y3, and they have given you individual time periods. y1 का कितना है? 1.08 seconds. y2 of t has 3.6 seconds. y3 has 2.025 seconds. So 3 different time periods they have. And it is the sum of the signals. So 5 steps have to be followed. Okay. So let's start solving. First step, list the given data. What all is given to you, just list it out for your reference. Very first thing, they have given you that y of t is sum of 3 signals. I have written that. Then all these individual signals have got the periods. Those values are given to you in the question. So list that. Period of the first signal, I will denote it as a T1 because in the procedure, I need to substitute, you know, T1, T2, T3, T4 like that. That's why what I'll do, I'll just denote each time period by the denotion capital T, 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, this is the given in the question. This is the given data in the question. Now let us start solving the problem. We have to apply the 5 steps. So what is the first step? First step, we need to take the ratio of T1 by Ti. Okay. This is the first step. What is I? I is these suffixes. I have done a mistake. Please make this y3. That's a very silly mistake. Y of 3. Okay. So what is I value? I value can be 2. I value can be 3. It cannot be 1 because numerator में already 1 है. So I is ranging from 2 to m. M is your maximum number here. अगर आपका से कंटिन्यू होके सम यम तक रहता है तो ये जो लास्ट सफिक्स आएगा वो वैल्यू है. So यहाँ पर according to the given question last suffix is this 3. Okay. So only 2 and 3. Only two values of i's. So according to that I should calculate T1 by T2. I is equal to 2. Then T1 by T3. I is equal to 3. दो ratios calculate करने हैं. So what is T1? 1.08. What is T2? 3.6. So if I take the ratio of this, don't use the calculator and ठक 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 आप जो भी values substitute किए हैं उसको डाल के ratio करके yes madam this is the answer in points. Please don't do that. That's not we want. We don't want that. Try to do it manually. What I have done it here on the screen, you can see it. Move the decimal point. I have moved this decimal point 2 places. अगर एक प्लेस यहाँ पर हो गया, यहाँ पर सेकेंड प्लेस, दो प्लेसेस मूव किए हैं. And if you observe here, if I move this point here, it will become 36. I'll just show you. It is 1.08. If I move a decimal point in the numerator 2 times, it will become 108. Okay. Numerator में decimal point 2 move किए हैं. डिनोमिनेटर में भी मैं इक्वली दो अमाउंट मूव करूंगी सो दैट डेसिमल पॉइंट विल गो राइट बिकॉज इफ इट इज 3.6 if I move it one time it will become 36 but what about numerator if I move one time it will become 10.8 I don't want point so I need to move this one more time it will become 108 so denominator में और एक decimal point move करना पड़ेगा it is something like this 36.0 so move one more it will become 360 equally move it equal amount because you have to remove the decimal point that's why in the numerator it is 1.08 it has become 108 and 36 has become 360 moving the decimal point twice to the right side okay it is 108 divided by 360 so let me just start dividing 3 3s are 36 then 3 1s are 3 2s are and 0 then 3 1s are 3 2s are 4s are 0 then 12 2 6 are 12 2 20s are then 2 3s are 6 2 10s are further I can't divide it don't do it okay 0.3 or something don't write in points I want the rational ratio integers numbers should be integers so I got 3 by 10 so 3 by 10 the ratio whole numbers are there both numerator and denominators are integers so it is rational I got the rational ratio for T1 by T2 similarly let me go for T1 by T3 so what is T3 T3 is this T1 is this so let me do the same repeat let me repeat this one more time numerator is 1.08 denominator is changed 2.025 so let me see how many decimal points I have to move let me start with moving one decimal point I'll get 10.8 here I'll get 20.25 one time movement similarly I'll move one more time because I don't want the decimal point 108 divided by 202.5 see numerator I have removed the decimal point it is like this 108.0 but what about denominator it is still there so move one more 108.0 move one more decimal point take the 0 here and it will be 0.0. Okay, I cannot write it. Divided by, the denominator is 2025, right? So what I got, 1080 divided by 2025. Again, let me just start dividing. 1080 divided by 2025. I can start with 5. 5 2 za, 5 1 za, 6 za, 4 za, 0, 5 5 za 25. Then count 6 plus 1 plus 2, 6 7 8 9. 9 is divisible by 3. 405, 4 plus 5 9. Yes, both are divisible by 3. So 3 7 za 21, 3 2 za 6, 3 1 za 3, 3 3 za 9, 3 5 za. Then 7 plus 2 9, 3 plus 1 plus 5 is 9. Again divisible by 3. 24, 45. Then 24 and 45, 2 plus 4, 2 plus 4 6, 4 plus 5 9. Yes, again it is divisible by 3. 8, 8 za 24, 3 1 za 3, 3 5 za. Further it is not divisible. 8 by 15 I got. 8 by 15 ratio. Okay. Further you don't divide and put it in fractions. I don't want fraction. 8 by 15. Yes, the ratio is a whole number ratio, right? Integer numbers are there. So the ratio is rational. So first step is complete. I have done T1 by T2 ratio conversion. The ratio I have found out in both ratios. I have found that the ratios are rational ratios. I did not get any irrational value, pi, roots. I did not get any of such kinds. So first step is clear, successful. So obviously it means that step 1 is possible. So ratio is rational. Hence, I have to continue with the next steps. It is periodic. It means that it is periodic. What is the third step? I need to go for finding the GCD of numerator and denominator. Okay. These are the ratios 3 by 10 and 8 by 15. How? Just now we have seen 3 by 10 and 8 by 15. Taking the ratios, check what are the numerators. Numerators are 3 and 8, right? I have written it here. And denominators are 10 and 15. Denominators are 10 and 15. Now, for 3 and 8, you need to find the GCD. What is the GCD of 3 and 8? There is no common divisor, right? 3 and 8. So it is 1. Common value is 1. If it was 2 and 8, you might have used 2. 10 and 15. GCD of 10 and 15 is the GCD. You can't divide. See 10 and 15, I think common divisor is 5. 5 2s are 10, 5 3s are 15. So greatest common divisor is 5. So 1 and 5. You should be knowing how to find the GCD. Okay, if two numbers are there, a very common, if any numbers they are not commonly divisible, the value is 1. Okay, otherwise you can find the value like this, GCD. Please try to go through GCD, how to find. So I have found numerator GCD and denominator GCD. Numerator GCD I don't want actually, but still I have calculated. Now what I will do, what all these ratios are there, these ratios in the same step, in the step 3 only, I will try to represent in the GCD. You observe what is the difference? 3 I have written as it is for numerator, and this 1 represents numerator's GCD. And this denominator 10, I have split this 2 into 5, wherein 5 represents denominator GCD. So आपको ये जो रेशो आया है T1 by T2, T1 by T3, इस रेशो को GCD के फॉर्म में, in the form of GCD you have to represent. See, for 8 by 15, how I have written? 8 is in the numerator, so apply the numerator GCD. 8 into 1. डिनोमिनेटर 15 है, डिनोमिनेटर का जीसीडी आपको 5 आया है, 15 को 5 के मल्टीपल्स में रिप्रेजेंट करो, कैसे आएगा? 5 इंटू वॉट इज इक्वल टू 15? 5 1 जा 5, 5 2 जा 10, 5 3 जा 15, so 3, 5 into 3, right? So in the same third step only, try to represent the ratio in a GCD form. ये जो रेशो है 3/10, 8/15, ट्राई टू रिप्रेजेंट इन जीसीडी फॉर्म. ये जो जीसीडी 1 and 5 है, 1 and 5 आपको ये यहाँ पे विजिबल होना है. ओके, सी 15 is represented in the form of 5 into 3, 10 is represented in the form of 2 into 5, 5 is there GCD. Okay, next step, we need to find the LCM of the denominator. Check the denominators. In the first ratio it is 2 and 5. In the second ratio it is 3 and 5. 5 तो common है, so numbers कौन कौन से हैं? 2, 3 and 5. 3 numbers are there in the whole of the denominator. Okay, इस रेशो में दो नंबर्स हैं 2 and 5, इस रेशो में दो नंबर्स हैं, वो दो नंबर्स में से एक नंबर कॉमन है जीसीडी 5, उसको एक ही रखो, डोंट रिपीट इट. सो टोटली 2, 3 and 5, 3 numbers are there in the denominator. So you have to find the LCM of these three. How to find the LCM? You can see it. I have done here. 2 ones are, then 3 ones are, and 5 ones are. 2 into 3 into 5. 30. 0 is missing here. It is 30. So I got the LCM of the denominators 30. So it is finally fifth step. It is the first time period into the LCM. First time period is 1.08. This dot indicates multiplication. Multiplied by L. LCM is, just now we have got it as 30. So 30 into that you find out, use the calculator, you will get 30.4 seconds. This is the overall time period of your signal y of t. Let me just repeat the steps briefly. What we did, first step, very first thing, list the given data and denote all the time periods given as T1, T2 and T3. Then take the ratio of T1 by Ti. I is, since there are three signals, so I is 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So 2 ratios will be there, T1 by T2, T1 by T3. So you have to check whether you will get these rational or not. If you get the rational, continue all 5 steps. If you don't get the rational, stop here. So here in this problem, we have got both rational. So let's continue with the third step, finding the GCD. GCD, how to find? Numerator, if you observe, you have 3 and 8, denominator 10 and 15. So 3 and 8, 10 and 15, find the GCD. For numerator, you will get 1. For denominator, you will get 5. Then try to represent in the same step the ratio 3/10, 8/15 in the form of GCDs. ये जो 1 and 5 है, you try to represent 3/10 in the form of 1 and 5. So numerator will not change, 3 into 1, 8 into 1. Denominator 10 is represented as 2 into 5, 5 is the GCD. 15 is represented as 3 into 5, 5 is the GCD. After that, find the LCM of the denominators. Check in both the ratios what are the denominators, 2, 5, 3, 5. 5 is repeated because it is GCD. So take only one time. So 2, 3, 5. So for denominator terms 3, 2, 3, 5, find the LCM, you will get 30. Finally, time period is given by T1 into L. T1 is 1.08 multiplied by 30. Answer is 30.4 seconds. I hope you understood this problem. We'll be solving few more problems based on these 5 steps. Hope you understood this. See, you can see it on the screen. There is a second problem. Can anybody quickly tell me whether it is periodic? Let me see if anyone can answer me. Given x of t is sum of three signals and individual signals periods is given 8/3, 1.26 and √2. So you need to find the time period and you need to check whether the signal is periodic or not. So can anybody tell me? Just by looking at the question, you should answer. No one? Let's see. Farooq. Farooq, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, Farooq. Question number 2 को देखो. Read it carefully.
What, ma'am?
You read the question. What is the question? X of t is a sum of three signals, x1 plus x2 plus x3. Individual signals periods are given 8/3, 1.2
Yes, ma'am.
and √2.
Where x of
Okay. So question क्या है? Whether the
yes,
given
ma'am.
signal is periodic or not. And अगर periodic है तो आपको steps follow करने पड़ेंगे. So tell me whether the signal can be periodic. Question देख के आंसर बता देना आप.
Yes,
Yeah, whether it is periodic.
ma'am. Periodic.
Is it periodic?
Yes, ma'am. Periodic.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody else who can answer me this question? Whether the given question is periodic or not. The given x of t signal is periodic or not. At least if you cannot answer orally, you can just put it in the chat box. Ajay is telling maybe non-periodic. Okay. Ajay, I'll accept your answer. Can you just quote the reason behind it? Why you're feeling that it is non-periodic? Ajay? Why you're feeling that it is non-periodic? See, when we are following 5 steps, उसमें पहला step क्या है? हमको ratio find out करना है. Okay? T1 by Ti, T1 by T2, T1 by T3 like that. जब आप वो ratio find out करते हो, वो ratio rational रहना है. Numbers should be integers. Okay? If you observe carefully, the period given is root. It is, if you take the ratio, it is not a rational ratio. The second ratio, if you take first ratio, no doubt you will get a rational ratio. जब आप T1 by T3 लेते हो, उसमें √2 है. So √2, this form. जब भी आपको आप शायद रैशनल इरेशनल नंबर्स का डेफिनेशन जब देखेंगे, एग्जांपल्स जब देखेंगे, the numbers of this form, root form, they are irrational numbers. So obviously given question has root. So ratio तो rational नहीं रहेगा. If the ratio is not rational, so obviously it is not periodic. You have to stop in the second step itself. First step में आप रुक जाओगे. Okay, anyways, second question, no need to calculate it because the given question itself has a irrational number √2 as the period of third signal. Okay. So if you just try to calculate the first step, T1 by T2 and T1 by T3, if you take this, the ratio, एक ratio rational आएगा, but the other ratio you will get irrational. So first step is not successful. Because of that, the signal is non-periodic. Okay, this is the second problem. Let me just show you this on the screen. You can please, you can try this third problem. Try to follow all the 5 steps for the third problem. I'll be continuing this discussion in the next class. If you're interested, if you are feeling it a bit exciting to solve these problems based on the 5 steps, you can try out the third problem. Okay, individual periods are given 90 and 54 seconds. It is only 2 signals. छोटा है सिग्नल, सो आपको बहुत एफर्ट्स डालने की जरूरत नहीं है. रेशियो भी सिर्फ एक रेशियो आएगा, T1 by T2. That's it. So try to solve this problem. Okay, let me continue the remaining in the next class. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.